I'll be coming back home now to Dr. Obina. Let me hold you next, my friend. We live in the same side of this world where housing deficit is estimated over 28 million, which is a very huge opportunity for investors. So considering the cry now in the market, where if in fact this morning I had the experience of a civil servant that is crying that the housing demand, the housing pricing is way above their financial capacity. So with your capacity in this industry that you are operating presently across 5 states, how do you think we can leverage innovation to make housing affordable for common man? Our audience, you can continue dropping your questions while presentation are going at the chat box. We'll read them up as we continue. Please be engaged. So, Dr. Obina, over to you, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dr. Obina. I've been introduced. I will go straight to answering some of your questions. You see, Nigeria is a very peculiar market. Recently, I told somebody that there is no affordable housing for Nigerians today without the direct contribution and input of the government. Why did I say so? Just let's say just 3-4 years ago, due to the inflation and the government allowing the dollar to float freely, Nigeria alone experienced over 400% appreciation in building materials. What it means is a house, a bungalow, you will build with 20 million in 2021. Today, you can't build that same house with 60 million. So you find out that the market we operate in Nigeria, the appreciation rate of building materials has drastically increased, that it will be challenging for a private investor to build affordable house for our teeming population.
No, my boss.
Now, yeah, can you hear me?
Continue with the people from the front. I'll mute them.
Oh, okay. So, in order to apply innovations, we need to be able to learn what we call collaboration in the industry. I can boldly tell you that a lot of real estate companies today are not just real estate companies, they are just real estate agents, because it takes a lot of resources, it takes a lot of innovation, it takes a lot of leveraging to be able to operate effectively in today's market. And just the process of acquiring properties in Nigeria, my brother, you can tell how tedious it can be. You can find out that in order to even get a good property in Nigeria, you might fall into various dubious hands. And today, a lot of properties are experienced because you might end up buying properties 2-3 times before you actually are buying from the right person. And perfecting title on lands today in Nigeria is becoming very, very expensive. So you find out that in order to provide housing needs for our population in terms of affordable housing, you must consider the government input, you must consider the banking input. Today, Nigeria banks are not too friendly in terms of financing real estate projects. I had a friend in US that was about doing a project worth over $14 million. This guy was even new in US, and the US banks were ready to give him a whooping 80% of the funding, while asking him to get 20% of the funding from Nigeria, which was about $8 million. I will tell you that a lot of Nigerian banks are not even willing to give him such resources. You understand? So when we come from a society that governments are even the main business people, you have challenges. You understand? If you go to the Western world, if you go to the developed country, you find out that the rich and the wealthy people are the entrepreneurs, not the people in government. Now, I can tell you today, if you want to even perfect title in Lagos or in Abuja, the processes you go through would not even allow you to start thinking about affordable housing. You understand? And the environment we have today, the mortgage banks need stable income in order to have to fund or to fund housing. So you find out that how many people in Nigeria have affordable, stable work or stable salary that can finance housing needs. You see, the situation we find ourselves today, in order to bring in affordable housing into Nigeria today, like I said, we need seriously the help of the government. We need the help of the banking system to give real estate developers long loans. I remember when the first presenter was making his opening remarks. If one of his slide, they delivered these projects and they bracketed it within a tight margin environment. Tight margin environment. What it means is when the exchange rates are stable, you can plan. I started a project that should cost me 300 million. 1 year down the line, the same project was costing me 900 million. So imagine if I was building for affordable housing, I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. I know a lot of people that went into affordable housing, they've abandoned such projects because the affordable housing you're asking for, these people you want to provide this resource, housing needs for, do they have stable income to pay over time for such properties? So you find out that the income net and the income structures of Africans is even a challenging factor when it comes to providing housing needs. Because when you're giving somebody a housing need and you're telling the person pay 200K every month, are you talking to people that can lose their job in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years? And you're asking them to pay for houses over 20 years. How many people work in a place for 20 years? So you find out that the challenge is very, very tight. So what we need to also consider to help people to reach out or to benefit from affordable housing, they need to start considering satellite towns, going into satellite towns and live from satellite towns into the urban city. But when you're looking at affordable houses in urban cities, when only acquisition of land, construction of those properties, the loans collected from banks are within short period of time, you find out that delivering affordable housing is a challenge. But when it comes to innovation, for me, innovation is a key role in every pillars of the real estate industry. What do I mean? If you're coming in from your vision, you must be innovative. Down to your finances, you must be innovative. To the technology backing, whatever you're doing, you're building materials and concepts, your online marketing strategies, your sales, you're even developing the right team to work with. You must make sure that you apply innovations on them. So if you ask me to discuss on leveraging on innovations on this particular every sector, it will take us the whole day. So what I'm going to share with us or leave with us today is that the income system in Africa does not make affordable housing profitable or sustainable for business owners unless there's a serious government partnership and banking partnership involved. So if you want to thrive in affordable housing, you must look for innovative way to engage government. You must look for innovative way to engage the banks. And the banks today are interested in cash flow. The banks are not interested in your appreciation or your future sales. They're interested in your cash flow. And once you have a very good cash flow, you find out that really, do you really need the loan at the end of the day? But you can accept them as a businessman that understands how debt and how other people money works for them. So for me, affordable housing will continue to be a challenging factor in Africa, especially in Nigeria, because of these factors I've shared with us. So thank you. I don't know if you have any other question. I actually answered your question.
You said that what we have now are not necessarily developers. That word, I wrote it down. He said what we have now is not necessarily developers, they are agents that are trying to make a living. My question to you is that if you are to advise a group of emerging developers a group of emerging developers, what innovative financing or partnership model do you think they can leverage to unlock opportunities, investment opportunities, sorry, to
Okay,
attract?
thank you, Doctor. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. I did not say all developers are agents. I said a majority of developers
80%.
are agents. You understand? So, so when people acquire one self, or they build one houses, they tell you they're already developers. Okay. Very good question, because I've had series of meetings with various developers. I belong to Redan in Nigeria. That is the Real Estate Development Association of Nigeria. You see, if we in the industry do not believe in ourselves, who else will? Now, I gave a simple analysis to some of a new club I joined. I created, they called it the Ruti Pro Joint Venture Partnership Opportunity. Now, what it does is, now it is better for 20 developers to come together, bring in funds of maybe 50 million, which will give them about 1 billion, and they do a massive project. Now, what they've done is they've leveraged on their finances. What 50 million would, what 50 million cannot afford them. Now they have access to 1 billion. And it's actually coming from what? Developers like them. So what they do is what? They leverage on not just their finances, they leverage on their experience, they leverage on their market, they leverage on their strength. So imagine when me and 20 other developers come together, put in 50 million or 100 million, and we have about 2 billion. Imagine the kind of project we can do with 2 billion. But when each of us are waiting for when each of us we get 2 billion to run a project, it could take almost the next 5 to 10 years. And we're actually looking at the banks. So we really do not need the bank. All we need is what? Collaboration, trust, and developers coming together to share risk, share profit, share experience, share the marketing. Because in real estate today, if you don't spend tremendous amount of money to promote your projects, you won't even be able to sell them. If you don't spend a tremendous amount of money to acquire large number of land, come up with innovative projects that can give you ×3 of your capital, you won't be able to achieve them. So the easiest way for developers to actually achieve their goals faster and leverage on finances is for the developers themselves to come together. Because 20 million, when 50 people bring 20 million together, it's already 1 billion. If 25 people bring 20 million, it's already 500 million. So tell me what that man with 20 million can do. Now, with his fellow developer, he can now do a project with his 20 million. He can now tap into a project of 500 million that can actually give them a return on investment of about 1.5 to 2 billion. Now, this is how the thinking should go. But when you come from a society where trust is very limited, you understand? And everybody is thinking independent. You see, independence is only the second stage of growth. The major stage of growth is your ability to partner, to collaborate. Go and look at the big brands out there. They know how to collaborate. You'll be surprised that if you look at Microsoft, a lot of their technology, a lot of their vendors, providers around what they do are partnership oriented. Even government partner with government to drive development. So it is very important for developers today to bring their resources together to see how we can come together and do massive projects. Imagine, Doc, they give you 1 billion. Imagine what you do with 1 billion. They give you 2 billion. You understand? So imagine if you have people that have the kind of capital you have and you have them 20 or 50. So just imagine what you can do. So we are all, you have a capital to play with. All of us have our marketing force. All of us have our industry experience. We won't even have issues. We won't even go to the banks. We become the bank. You understand? We become the system. We won't be thinking outside our network. You understand? And that is one way I want to encourage developers to go in order to raise money and to collaborate among themselves to deliver on projects.
Power. You you speak with power. I love that that thinking. You said when we come together, we become the system, we become the bank. In fact, the the problem I even have presently with financial institution is that I have started working since last year to have our own company, fintech, subsidiary of fintech. Well, I used to tell the bank that I cannot be coming to you to give me money. You will not give me. Then the ones I will collect from other people, I will give you. You use it for business, and at the end of the day, I'm only feeding you, and you are not feeding me. Relationship doesn't work that way. So I love, I love the what you said. It's actually really lovely. Thank you very much. I know you very well, and I know you are speaking from the point of knowledge. Now we are going to carve everything up. Dr. Obina will start from you, then I'll come round again. In all this discussion, we have been here for almost 2 hours, from the presentation from South Africa to this our panel discussion. Just quickly, within 2 to 3 minutes, the African real estate market is projected to hit over $1 trillion in 2050. How do you think, in summary, we can bring in innovation or technology and also take advantage of sustainable development to unlock the future? The same question for everybody, just 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. First of all, we must know where our future lies, and which is in Africa. The world is thinking about Africa. So Africa on its own needs to start thinking beyond borders. Let me tell you the truth. One of the most viable people that can afford property or develop property in Africa today are Nigerians, because everywhere you go around the world, Nigerians are there. Nigerians are building real estate in Rwanda. Nigerians are building real estate in Ghana, in Kenya. I've gotten messages. I know people living in those locations and they are doing well. So what I would advise for Africa to do is, whatever model we want to, especially for we to come together, have a unified vision and spread it across borders. Now, not just spreading across borders, but to share it to places that has the potential of giving the kind of returns we need. Because every country has a great location that real estate must thrive. And if you go to those locations, you must find a Nigerian there. You understand? So we Nigerians are open to investment across board, but we need to be able to be sure and to understand that these opportunities can also go above or beyond Nigeria. So what we need to do, we need collaborations like this. We need platforms where we can continue to share ideas, to discuss and look at what can we do in Nigeria that can be duplicated in Kenya, in Rwanda, in South Africa, that has a unifying branding. You understand? That would tell people that, look at these people, they were the people in Nigeria, they are still the people in South Africa, they are still the people in Kenya, and they are delivering on their projects. Why? Because trust is there, challenges of cross-border finances and the regulations are there, but we can overcome them because we already have people in those countries that are already representing us. For instance, I want to go to Kenya tomorrow. If I meet the people here in Kenya, they make the process very easy for me. The people over there coming to Nigeria, they don't need to come and start finding their feet. They already know we are here in Nigeria. So by the time we are having a unified cooperative, let me put it that way, cooperative across border, we find out that we can always strive in whatever we're doing. You see, for me, technology is universal. Everybody uses Facebook, LinkedIn, IG. You understand? The innovations we need some innovations that are already coming up. You see, the problem with innovations, when it even comes to building materials, is some of them are still being tested. Some of them are not yet sustainable. You understand? And if you come to this part of the world, what it costs you to build a duplex in Ekpe is the same thing it will cost you to build in what? In Ikoyi. The difference is what? Just the cost of the land. Because all of you buy from the same market, the same iron market, the same cement market, the same sand market. So you find out that it is just the cost of what? The land. So whatever idea, for me, I use innovations and technology in everything I do, from the buildings to our accounting, to our softwares, to our internal management systems, to our sales and marketing strategies, to whatever you're talking about, we use that. Even in my company, almost everything we use for our marketing these days are AI oriented. You understand? Our building technology, we have started looking at using polystyrene to reduce weight, ash load weight on the houses, to avoid collapse, to avoid what do they call it? To avoid houses sinking, because there are some places that their topography of the lands are matchy, there's water swamp, and they need piling. You understand? So innovations does not stop in one just aspect of real estate. In every aspect you're dealing with, you need to look at what are the best ways you can go about it, and you can deliver, making sure that the cost effectiveness is low, the cost management is low, the delivery are high. Like for me, Ghana has one of the best workforce. Even in Nigeria, yeah, I use Ghanaians as for my plastering, for my block works, for my POP designs, because in Nigeria, yeah, it's even more expensive to use Nigerians to build. So you find out that our leveraging can even allow us bring manpower from Ghana, can make us bring technology from Rwanda to deploy in Nigeria. So we need to be able to remove boundaries and borders challenges. We need to be able to use technology to discuss and say, yes, we have these resources. We are ready to partner with you guys to see how we can deliver on projects across board. You find out that when we're dealing, and because one thing about partnership is everybody wants that their project should be in their state. You understand? But we Nigerians, for me, we are looking at interest. We are looking at interest. We're not even looking at the destinations. If you tell me I will build a house in Kenya and I will get my investment quick and faster and with a good margin, I will go to Kenya. I'm an Igbo man. I built more houses outside the eastern land than even in the east. You understand? So we are open, especially as Nigerians, we are open. We are even more friendly to outsiders than the insiders. So it gives them the opportunity to want to do business with us. But for me, the technology is good. Partnering among developers. I'm telling you, when 20 developers come together and pull resources together, they will sell out that project faster. They won't need to go to the banks. They will have all the support they need, and they are good to go. So collaboration is the way to go. Thank you.